So if you got a 1984 to present Harley Davidson and you're tired of your brakes, whether they're dirty or they're noisy or they're just not giving you the performance benefit, we're installing these Lyndall brakes today on this 2015 Street Glide. And so stay tuned, see the process of how I get these things installed. All right, so again, we got J-Rod here, our trusty installation mechanic. He doesn't just do videos. He also works here as a full-time mechanic. Are you still full-time, or you're?
Yeah, I'm full-time for the most part. I'm out. I don't work Mondays since I work Saturdays, and then I'm out of here at noon on Wednesdays for school.
He went back to school, so he just graduated high school. And so, what are you studying, Jared?
I'm in the automotive program at Cypress College.
Automotive program at Cypress College. He is obviously very passionate about what he does, and that's why we use him so often to make these install videos. So the first step is what? You just took out which bolts?
Pulled the brake caliper bolts off.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that right there.
So we pull the brake caliper bolts out, and then after we pull those, we're going to pull the we're going to jack the front of the bike up, and we'll pull the wheel off.
So now you technically could do this project without a bike lift.
Yes, absolutely.
You just need a center jack, yeah?
Yeah. Yep, you just need to be able to get the front wheel off your bike.
You just got to be able to get the front wheel off. So about 20% of this project is done right here, and then the other 80% is going to be done on the lift.
Yes, sir.
With the tire, just with the tire. So I just got off the phone with Chico over at Lyndall Brakes, and he was giving me the rundown on details on what makes Lyndall Brakes so special. So here's the rotor that we're running with. So they have different options, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. But with all Lyndall brakes, it really comes down to their premium materials that they use in their rotors, and then the premium manufacturing process. So what Chico was telling me is that this wave-like cut, it drops about 30% of the weight of the rotor compared to stock. And because it's a spinning weight, that is actually, I think, like an 8-to-1 weight change. So it makes your bike accelerate faster, decelerate faster, allows you to kind of dive into turns easier. So it's not just braking advantages that you get when you upgrade to Lyndall brakes. You get a whole host of other performance benefits, which you probably wouldn't have thought of just by replacing your stock rotors to a Lyndall racing brake. Now moving on to their brake pads, basically there's 3 different options for the Harley Davidson models. There's kind of like a softer option, there's a harder option, and then there's kind of their Performance Plus option. The softer one is really going to help your everyday rider who may be experiencing, lousy brakes that don't last very long, or they're squeaky, they make a lot of noise on the road, or they leave a lot of dust on the wheel themselves. So if you're cleaning up your wheel a lot and it's really bothering you, you get a lot of brake dust on your wheel, upgrading to Lyndall brakes completely eliminates that problem. Now their medium density or their harder density one, the kind of the middle option, that's where you're going to see an improvement in braking performance. So it's going to drastically shorten the stopping time, which, in all of racing, whether you're racing motorcycles or you're racing cars, if you can stop faster, you're going to have a better track time. So you're going to increase the performance drastically. So is it time to move on to the bench?
Yep, so now we're going to get everything moved around a little bit, and get these new gorgeous rotors thrown on this bike.
All right, let's do it. All right, so Jared, as you can see, has the wheel in the wheel chuck. Now, if somebody doesn't have a wheel chuck, Jared, how could they do this at home?
You can absolutely just do it on the ground. It's by far so much easier to do it in a wheel chuck like this.
Yeah.
But, I do get, not everybody
has one. Yeah.
So you can, yeah, absolutely, as long as I put down a towel or something so you don't mar up the wheel or the brake discs.
Yeah.
And you'll be solid.
Now, what tools are you using?
Actually, pull the OEM bolts out. You're going to need a T40. And then to put the new titanium bolts in, you are going to need a 7/32 Allen.
And those titanium bolts are provided with the kit.
Yep.
All right, let's see it. So one thing I didn't mention earlier in the video is that Lyndall Brakes offers a lifetime guarantee with their rotors if you use Lyndall brake pads.
And it may be controversial that I'm using an impact, but I have snapped off bolts before, and this has been the best remedy that I have found personally. So now we're going to torque all 5 of our bolts anywhere from 15 to 18 foot-pounds, and I'm going to torque them probably a little closer to 18.
So you do need a torque wrench to do this, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So Jared got them all torqued down, and now we're just going to do the same exact thing on the other side, because there's a rotor on either side of the tire, as you're familiar with. Do you think you could just unscrew this, flip the tire around, and then...
So just to make it a little easier, we're just gonna flip this around real quick.
It's a pretty simple install.
It is.
All you need is a little bit of space, a couple specialty tools, nothing crazy though.
Nothing that you don't need to work on the rest of your bike.
Yeah, nothing one of your buddies probably doesn't have. So a simple DIY installation, take you a couple hours on a Saturday morning or a Sunday, and you just drastically improve the performance of your brakes, the look of your bike even.
There really is no way to go wrong with Lyndall Brakes.
Yeah, most people think with their performance upgrades, it's all about motor work, exhaust, intake, cams, what have you. And a lot of times the brakes get overlooked. Even over at Mickey Cohen Motorsports, it's the first thing he upgrades is his brakes, doing all his magic to his motor and dyno tuning it. You just have to have a performance braking system so that you can stop the beast that you just created.
Yeah, everybody does build insane motors, and it's great, you've got all the power. But at the end of the day, once you get something going that fast, the stock brakes just cannot keep up with it. They really can't. So Lyndall is by far the best. All right, now we're just gonna torque these back down to 18 foot-pounds, just like we did on the other side. And it is very important to tighten these in a star pattern, just like you do on wheels and everything else. Wheel is ready to go back on the bike.
All right, so we have the rotors installed. Super easy, 15-20 minutes to take off the stock ones here and replace them with the Lyndall racing rotors here. And you can just see a drastic difference, not just from a looks perspective, but from the design, the wave design that they have. It cuts up to 20 to 30% of the weight from stock. So without further ado, let's get this bad boy installed on the bike. And again, this is a project that you can do without having a mechanic's lift, a bike lift. All you got to do is jack the bike up high enough to take the front tire off. Then you can install the rotors kind of where you please. Once you get those installed and torqued down properly, then you just throw the front wheel back on.
And one easy thing you can do if you don't have a lift, that way you don't have to jack the bike up so high, is you can always pull those 4 bolts out for your front fender, and it makes it the wheel a lot easier to come off. Very important that you always anti-seize up your axle before you put it back together. That way, next time you want to get it off, you can actually get it out. Now the traction's in, go ahead and put a little bit of blue Loctite on your pinch bolt and thread that in. And just snug your pinch bolts up. And once you get your pinch bolt tight, you can go ahead and tighten your axle up to 75 foot-pounds. Just like that. And now to swap out the brake pads, you're going to pop this cover. It's right off the top here. Pull the little pin. You're going to grab your 5mm Allen to pull out the retaining pin. Then you can pop your brake pads right out. And personally, I like to throw a little bit of anti-seize, just kind of right here on the sliding pin. That way everything can just slide nice and smooth. Won't be any issues. And then once you spread your caliper back out, you can either use a brake caliper press or even a flathead screwdriver will absolutely work. And then so we're gonna spread those out. Then we're gonna grab our new brake pads, slide those in here. Once we get those in, we're gonna put our pin back in. Snug that up nice and tight. Then pop our pin back in, and then our caliper cover. And once everything's back on, we're just gonna slide them right back on here. Always use blue Loctite on your caliper bolts. Once we get that on here, the torque spec for these on this particular bike is gonna be 38 foot-pounds. And you're all done on this side. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side.
So while Jared is finishing up the other side of this Lyndall Rotors and brake pads installation, guys, head over to Lifestyle Cycles online mega store. There's a number of options for the rotor design and for the brake pads. Figure out which one's great for you. If you have any questions, give us a call here at Lifestyle Cycles. We can walk you through the process, you know, what type of riding you're doing and which brake pad will be the best for your bike. As always here at Lifestyle Cycles, you get free shipping on orders over $50 and 5% back in megabucks that you can use towards future purchases. So if you have already purchased something from us, maybe a radio or a seat or an exhaust, engine upgrade, something like that, you already have megabucks saved up. So you can use those megabucks towards this purchase if you've already bought something from us. So go check it out.
Whoa, wait! Don't go anywhere until you like and subscribe to make sure you get notified every time we post our how-to videos, our product reviews, and all of our amazing interviews with your favorite racers and industry icons. I'll see you guys next time.